Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Stiepan A. Kovac. Stiepan A. Kovac, a Master of Science in ICT Security, is the Group CEO of ITK.Swiss, a cryptography-focused group offering unique symmetric post-quantum crypto for encrypted and high-integrity protected IPTV, 5G, safe electronic payments, and beyond. Aside from his main professional activities, Mr. Kovac is an invited lecturer in the University of Geneva for Quantum Informatics and Post-Quantum Cryptography. Well, good afternoon,
Yes.
Stiepan. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Stiepan. I'm glad you jumped on, and I'm really excited. I was talking to a professor there with you, Devor, prior to us jumping on, and you've got some amazing things going on. So let's jump right into it. You've got quite the career as an engineer in cryptography, and now you're the CEO, administrator of QR Crypto. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yes. So basically, when I started working in IT, soon after, I realized I should create my own company, which I did in 2008. That's already a while back. It was called IT Kovac. And soon enough, I became specialized in all aspects related to cybersecurity because that was what most interested me in that area. And as I completed my engineering studies and then master's degree in ICT security in parallel to my professional activity, I began looking into the possibility of doing some larger projects, which involved creating some bigger, let's say, more formal company than an individual consultancy as I had up until then. And so this is what we did ultimately with a friend of mine in 2017. We created ITK.Swiss, which is the mother company of QR Crypto. It's currently a group of companies present over 4 continents. And we are specializing in cybersecurity and in particular in quantum-resistant cryptography, which is what gives the name to QR Crypto, by the way, with a unique innovation, which is the quantum-resistant SIM card. And this is probably part of the answer to your question, because basically we concentrated on some aspect that is very niche of the needs to secure the worldwide communications. And we basically stuck to it up until today. The project, I must admit, was a bit larger in the beginning, but then we cut through the grass and concentrated on what was of the biggest interest to all the audiences we have had. And we got this patent published, so regarding the same innovation, in 2020, late 2020, filed in 2019 and published in 2020. And it is basically the first worldwide such patent on quantum-resistant symmetric cryptography, which is a niche within the niche that quantum-resistant cryptography is.
Awesome.
And probably that brings us to the other points that you wanted to ask me.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. This is really, I think, going to be the hot topic. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this cryptography? Can you explain what quantum-resistant symmetric cryptography is and how is it applied?
Yes, for sure. So quantum-resistant cryptography in general is cryptography made to resist so-called quantum computers, which are computers based on quantum physics. And I believe you had quite an expose by Professor Pavuna before, so I will not extend myself too much on that. And so those computers that will break most, if not all, existing cryptography are a real threat. They are coming sooner than we expect, very likely by 2023, according to many experts. And we have to upgrade existing cryptography or to replace it purely and simply so that it still resists in the future. And cryptography is used everywhere. As we speak here, it is apparently using some cryptography, and Zoom is saying a lot of things and sometimes not implementing it. But that's another debate. And even for mobile payments, or even when you log into your email account and so on and so forth, you always have this little lock icon in your web browser, for instance. And this means that there is some encryption that is securing the line you are using to communicate. And that encryption is consisted of two parts. One, which is asymmetric cryptography, which essentially serves for the initial key material exchange that enables the further secure communication, and for the signature as well, digitally signing some information. And also some certificates that certify that the website is the website that you are visiting and not some imposter. The symmetric part, on the other hand, once the key exchange is done, you will encrypt the actual data flow between you and the website, for instance, or between ourselves as we speak now, using a symmetric key, which means both parties share the same key and they use it to encrypt, respectively decrypt the information. And up until recently, the most well-known and used standard, and actually still the most used standard today, is the AES, the Advanced Encryption Standard, which besides some rare exceptions, but important in the field of banking, is the most commonly used one. And that standard enables various key sizes. The first one, which is basically what it was designed for, is AES 128-bit. And that is fine, that is secure for now. We use it for some secure video conferencing solutions and so on and so forth. But it is not quantum resistant, at least not to the point that it will resist beyond a few years from now when those large quantum computers become available. Which means that, and this is not me saying it, but the NIST intermediary report on the topic in 2016, number 8105, that we need larger key sizes at the very least for this existing system that is called AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, which has been standardized 20 years ago by NIST. And now, to go up in key size, of course, you can use the other variants of AES, namely AES 192 or 256. So according to a paper by Cisco, which is very optimistic regarding the quantum resistance of the basic AES, 192 could eventually be enough to start with, but still they recommend 256 as a logical next step because of also all sorts of efficiency and so on considerations. And you don't want to migrate every day from one system to another either. And we go one step further because we bring this enhanced AES, which essentially fixes the major issue that there is with the current AES, which is in its key schedule, which is not cryptographically secure, let alone quantum safe. So it's using basic logical, digital logical functions, XOR functions, exclusive OR functions, meaning either or from a logical standpoint. And this is not something cryptographically secure, which leads to all sorts of attacks, including today, without having to wait for large quantum computers to be commercialized. Using, for instance, side channel attacks, you can crack AES 256, meaning that if you have sufficient proximity, either virtual or physical, to the system that you are targeting, you can extract the key material without having any previous knowledge on the key. So in order to fix that, we replace that part of the AES standard with a cryptographically secure key schedule. And that's the secret sauce, so to speak, of the enhanced AES, which, by the way, is an algorithm that has been trademarked, so the name EAS, but also whose specification is public. So anyone can verify. There is no hidden gift or whatever. It is actually secure, and it has been reviewed by two renowned institutions, one of which is Kudelski Security. I can say our biggest historical competitor in Switzerland, even though now they concentrate on pretty different stuff. And also by TÜV in Germany, which is the reference in Europe for verifying cryptography-related works. Well, I believe I made quite an explanation about what symmetric crypto is and how it can be made post-quantum. So maybe I believe you may have some other question, and since we are short on time, I hand it over to you.
Yeah. Stiepan, I appreciate the insights and what you're doing around cryptography, quantum computing, and how do we secure, our data, our communications, our financial information more securely in the future. And obviously, this is going to be a challenge. And what you're doing is simply amazing. So what I'm going to do today is wrap up, but I definitely want to have a part 2 here with you. So
maybe I can say 2 words, if you allow me, on the financial side specifically.
Yeah. In fact,
so
go ahead.
Today, we still have in use very old algorithms, which are not 20, but 40 years old, basically, in credit cards, for instance, and debit cards. And that's a major issue. And this is why I was late to this meeting, basically, to be very blunt, because we are struggling to publish some unbiased information in the financial community that will bring things to advance and to change for the better. And we are very hopeful it will get through, because now the key stakeholders, I believe, are convinced of that need and want to move forward. So that's great. But unless it is done, it is not yet done. That would be my key message, that there is a need to act relatively fast so that we are not caught by surprise by those quantum computers once they become largely available in a form factor that will be a threat to all existing encryption.
Absolutely. I appreciate the share on that. And Stiepan, it was a pleasure having you on today. I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Yes, of course. The pleasure is shared, and let's convene a future meeting.
Bye for now.